All right, what is going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Oh No Not Nino. I'm here with the really cool guy, really cool artist coming up in the DMV, Lemon Haze, BenBoh.
Yes, sir.
BenBoh, the one and only BenBoh, man.
Thanks for having me, bro.
You got it, man. Welcome to Oh No Not Nino, and we got a lot to talk about here. You are really up and coming in the DMV area. How long you been making hip hop and rap music, man?
So I probably made my first track 2.5 years ago at this point, and that was purely messing around with my friends. I was with my brother Jack Dosick, who's an engineer now in LA full time, music engineer that is, and two of my other close friends. We just went in and literally freestyled on a track. It was terrible. But we put it out on SoundCloud because we thought it was awesome, because it was the first time like I'd ever heard myself on a mic. And that, any music artist will tell you the first time like you actually hear yourself on a beat through like a decent mic, it's just like it changes your life, because it's just such an awesome experience to, even if it's a shitty song, just to hear yourself on the track. You know what I'm saying? That's how it started, was just me going to my buddy's house and like kind of messing around, really. And then we put it out on SoundCloud. Those tracks are no longer out on SoundCloud because they were so bad. But we didn't really know what we were doing. I had no like really plans to pursue like music at that point. I was kind of just messing around. But I've always loved music since since I can remember. So just me loving music made me want to at least try to get on a song. Even just joking around, and then so it kind of went from there. Made my first song 2.5 years ago, and then probably took a like 6-month gap before I went back in the studio, and then we actually downloaded Waves Tune, which is it's a plugin you can get for your for what we use is Logic. That's our DAW that we use to make music. So we got this plugin, and that was like the auto tune basically plugin. So hearing myself with auto tune, because I'm not the best singer in the world, not to say I rely on the auto tune, but that was another like mind changing experience of, wow, this sounds pretty sweet. Like I could probably do something with this. And then that was probably 2 years ago, and then kind of just started taking it seriously at the beginning of this year. After that, so basically like another year went by. I didn't really touch it. We had the equipment in our basement, but I wasn't really doing anything with it. It was kind of just there. I had in the back. My brother was using it, but I was kind of just chilling. And then a year ago is when I probably really started put it in gear, and that's when I started to actually make music seriously.
Wow. Okay. So about a year ago, you really start to lift off with it, take it serious. Mm-hmm. Okay, man. So wow. I mean, that's crazy to hear, because the way it looks now with your Instagram, with your YouTube, with your Spotify, with all that stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, I listen to Lemon Haze all the time, and that sounds very professional. It sounds like you've been doing it a long time. So I mean, I wouldn't guess that, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it.
And to be honest with you, the stuff that you put out isn't my typical that I listen to, but it's really good.
Thank you.
So, I mean, I don't know where you started, but I mean, you've definitely come a long way.
For sure.
So I'm impressed. Who are some artists that you grew up listening to that you sort of admire? Because obviously you do your own thing.
Yeah.
No matter what, you're still tweaking it to yourself. But who are your influences, would you say?
For sure. No, I mean, when you first start making music as an artist, you're just kind of trying to replicate the people you love, and because you don't know anything other than that. So, I'd say let's go back early on when I'm like a kid, right? My first music love ever was actually the Backstreet Boys. So I'm like 6 listening to the Backstreet Boys, and then like 7, 8 years old, the NSYNC comes around. I'm listening to them till I'm like 9, right? And then like 10 years old comes around, and my cousin Melissa starts giving us these mixed CDs. She started making us kind of like, I'd say like top 100 hits or whatever at the time CDs. So at that point, I'm listening to like Sum 41. I'm listening to like just the most random stuff I can't even go back to. And then I think once I'm like 11 or 12 in like 5th or 6th grade, my buddy just plays for me Lose Yourself in his room by Eminem. And that kind of just changed everything for me. I was like, oh shit, like people actually cuss on songs. I'm just, it, you know, blew my mind because I come from a conservative family, you know, in Olney, Maryland, where that just wasn't accepted. So I was just in my buddy's room knowing that if my mom heard me listening to this, she would kill me. And then went from there. The next, like, that's like 2001. And then I think,
because you and I were the same age.
yeah, we're the same age. So I'm 26. So
Okay.
this is, so this is, you know, 2001. I'm what, 8 years old?
We were like little kids.
Or no,
man.
you know, I'm like, yeah. So I'm young and still getting influenced. And then I guess I hear 50 Cent right shortly after I hear Eminem, and then I start listening to 50 because 50 was the one when I really started to dive deep, and I was like, wow, that dude's freaking awesome. Eminem was the same way, but like 50 was like the newer version of him coming out, kind of, because this is like after Eminem's prime, right? So Eminem's still in his prime, but I'm like not hip to Eminem, so I'm kind of like having to go back and listen to Eminem while discovering 50 Cent, if that makes any sense.
Makes perfect
because
sense.
like Eminem had already been out, but I was kind of too young to appreciate that, so I'm like discovering them both at the same time, kind of, and like they're obviously, you know, one's black, one's white, so they're both awesome in their own right, you know what I mean? So then I'm listening to them, and then, you know, from there, then I just got obsessed with rap music, and it took off from there, pretty much. Just listen to everything there was from that point on. Right now, I mean, I'd say my biggest influences are Young Thug. Juice WRLD just passed away, R.I.P. He was a big influence on me, just in terms of his, like, melodies that he would hit with the auto-tune. Because T-Pain was I'd say, the first person to do auto-tune that everyone was like, oh yeah, he's doing auto-tune, but it sounds pretty cool. But it was still like, I feel like people hated on him for that because he was before his time in a sense in terms of the auto-tune. So once like Thugger and Juice WRLD and people like that came around, that's really what influenced me to believe that I could make music, kind of just like that sound and what they were, you know, what ideas they were pulling from. I just felt like I could relate, if that made any sense. So I thought that's kind of what got me into thinking, okay, like I could actually maybe make some music. Like that'd be cool. So
Wow.
more recently, that's who I've, you know, been inspired by.
So you listen to all kinds of people growing up in the early 2000s, but it was those guys that it really resonated with you, and you were like, hold on, I like that sound, and maybe sometimes I feel like I could, you know, I could kind of do that a little bit.
Yeah, and but then saying that, right, you're a white kid in Olney, Maryland, so I, for the longest time, believed that there was no way in hell I could ever be a rapper. You know what I mean? Just because, like, I'm not a rapper. I'm a white kid from Olney. I'm about to do something other than that. I'm not cool enough, or I'm not hard enough. Whatever that belief was, insecurities, you know, would get into your head. For the longest time, I wasn't able to do anything in front of people. Like, no way would I ever get on stage and perform. No way would I ever act. No way would I ever... Anything that was in front of people, I didn't want any part of it.
Got it.
So that was me as a young kid, you know what I mean? So I think that's also another thing that maybe, you know, shied me away from thinking about making music as earlier in my life, just because I was, you know, developing as a man, still trying to figure out who I was, and not as confident, you know, growing up as I was, you know, after a certain point.
Okay, got it. So really kind of coming into yourself is what also helped you in your music. For sure. And, you know, what triggered that, unfortunately, was the loss of my younger sister. So my younger sister passed away in 2016. She was 16 years old, and she just got sick. So she wasn't like, not like she got in a car accident, or not like she was sick for a long period of time. She randomly got sick one time and went to the hospital and then passed away. So that was terrible. We went through it in 2016, my whole family, still going through it. But like at that point, it was kind of like I was working at an insurance agency, didn't love my job at all. You know, was looking for something else, didn't really know what it was. You know, then that happens. So then, like, I'm at the point in my, you know, life where I'm like, man, like, am I really gonna just, like, work at this insurance agency and, like, hate my life for the rest of my life? Or, like, am I about to, like, do something, like, crazy, like, for my sister, if that makes any sense? Like, because I always wanted to do something, like,
I never had I was just always so self-conscious. I was kind of like in the back of my mind, if it even like, I don't even know. I just felt like I was meant to do something crazy, but I'd never thought I would do it, if that makes any sense. I didn't know what that was, what crazy meant. You know, I just knew I was always different than people.
You knew you were different. You knew that maybe you were meant for something special.
Sure, yeah, and I didn't.
You couldn't quite put your finger.
Didn't
on
know what
that
it was. Didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
Just kind of knew what I liked. Knew, you know,
I'm sorry about that. That you went through that.
Yeah.
Man. Wow,
so that was
powerful,
tough.
Bro.
Yeah, that was tough. But so like I was luckily able to take that in a positive way. Believe it or not. I mean, it obviously killed me when it happened, but I mean, it was like I said, it was either you can, you know, work at this insurance agency and continue just doing what you've been doing, or you can switch it up. And, you know, that's what I did. I decided I wasn't going to work at this insurance agency anymore. I immediately started to look at other options. I'm actually really interested in marijuana and cannabis, so I wanted to get into that industry. So that's another, you know, side of me that maybe a lot of people don't know. I work at Pink Fox, which is in D.C., which is sort of a boutique, if you will, that sells retail items and then also provides you with cannabis, because there's a new law in D.C. that allows companies to sell you things and then give you cannabis as a gift, basically, for coming to the store. So that's how we roll in D.C. So my sister passes away, right? I'm like, what am I gonna do, right? So I ended up finding this job. Luckily, my dad meets this guy on a golf course. Who runs Pink Fox, and I had already told my parents at that point, because I'm fed up, right? I'm like, I need to get out of this job. My sister just passed away. I'm telling my parents this. I'm very open about it, so they know, and they also know that I'm interested in cannabis. So they're like, kind of like, you're crazy, but also keeping their ear and eye out for anything that they might hear, because they're my parents, and they're looking out. So my dad's golfing with a guy named Mark, and they just get to talking, and he's like, yeah, I have a weed business in D.C. Have your son come by. And it literally just worked out perfectly. It came by, smoked a joint with the guy, talked to him, and, you know, was working there the next week. It was like destiny. And because at that point, I told myself, you know, I'm not going to work at this insurance agency. And it was literally a week later that happened, you know, with my dad and the guy on the golf course. So it was wild. Started working there. So things started to turn around for my work life. So there you go. I'm like a little bit more positive, a little more uppity. And then, as I take a sip of water,
take a sip, man.
No, yeah. And then where was I? What was I just saying?
You got the job at Pink Fox.
Got the job at Pink Fox, so that's going well. And then, like, so now this is a year and a half ago now. So then I really started to do demos with my brother at that point in my basement, because my work schedule was a lot different, because I'm working 9 to 5 at the insurance agency Monday through Friday. This new place, I don't have to go until 11. I'm off a little later, but you know what I mean? I don't have to go until 11, so I can sleep in. I can stay up all night recording with my brother. So that was like another change of schedule that really helped me get into music. So I was able to start recording with my brother. We ended up, at that point, I'm taking it seriously, right? Because I'm motivated by my sister. I'm motivated by my new job. So we ended up doing some really nice demos. And one of those demos was Pour Fours. I don't know if you've heard Pour Fours. So that's a year and a half ago. We do a demo, Pour Fours, in our basement. And that's really the first song that I was like, oh, shit, this song's about to this is like something really good. This is finally something I can be really proud of making. Because before then, it was like, I'm trying to make music, but I haven't made anything yet that I can say I'm proud of making, because I'm very picky in what music I like, and I'm not gonna just. I wouldn't attempt to say that my music's good until it was, if that makes any sense. Obviously, everything's opinion based, but I like to think that I have a good ear for music, and I also like to think that I wouldn't be making music if I didn't think other people would like it. So like, once I did that demo, I was like, okay, other people I think will like this, and then at that point, it was like, all right. My buddy's out in L.A., Rondé. This is a good friend I had met at Sherwood, actually. He's trying to do music, too. So L.A. is kind of the place I hear for music. I'm going to go take a visit. So this is January of 2019. January of 2018, I'm sorry. I go to L.A. for the first time. And then we record the Pour Fours video. So that's done. My buddy Rondé edited everything, but that was done, and we put that out, and that ended up getting a good reception. You know what I mean? Not that many views, but everyone that viewed it loved it. You know what I mean? And I felt like I'd accomplished something. I got a video out on YouTube. I felt like it looked really good. You know what I mean? So from there, I kind of realized where I wanted to improve, and I'm just kind of like, I don't want to, like, I just see everyone, there's a lot of people making music, right? You could say everyone knows a rapper these days. Like, everyone's trying to make music. So I just knew I wanted to set myself apart from a lot of people that were, making music. And I know that, like, from what I see, the people that stick out to me are the people that have the best quality music, just quality sounding music, and the best people that have the best quality videos. So I kind of knew at that point my video wasn't as up to the up to the top as I want it to be. It's still a nice video, but it's not as good as Trippie Redd's video. It's not as good as Kanye's video. And that's a high bar to want to reach, but to be honest with you, I don't think I'm going to get famous unless I'm putting stuff out that's that good. You know what I mean? At least that's visually that good. You know what I mean? So at that point, once we put out the Poor Fours video, I come back home. I'm back in Olney from LA. We were there for like 2 weeks, whatever. The video's out. Everyone's loving it. Then I'm like motivated to do more music, right? So now I'm back in the studio with Cameron, back in the basement. Willie's there. We're all doing music. My boy Willie D. Shout out Willie D.
Shout out Willie D.
And
Willie.
So me, Willie, and Cam are in the basement like pretty much all of the beginning of 2018. We're cooking up hard. So we've got, like I said, we did the one demo, Poor Fours. Took us a while to get to that. Within the 6 months that I got back from LA, we probably did another 20 fire demos. So they were all like hard as fuck. Like these are all like things I would think people would like. So I think it was just the confidence I was lacking before I made Poor Fours to really be able to do something or put out music that was like really good, in my opinion, just because confidence is a huge thing in music, and you can literally hear confidence when you're listening to someone. So I think that was a big thing from me getting back from LA, having that video out, and then being able to do the demos with that confidence. And now my music's that much better. So then we do Lemon Haze in that time period. We do, All They Want to Do, which is out on YouTube. We do pretty much my whole entire album, with the exception of a few songs, was done right after I got back from LA the first time. So my whole Before the Fame, which is out on all platforms, was pretty much all done right after I got from LA the first time. And then pretty much just tried to go back to LA from the first time until now. I've been there like 5 times. So I just tried to go back as many times as I could within like 1 week to 10-day periods. And while I'm there, I've been recording videos, just trying to get as much content as I can out there. And I got Lemon Haze recorded out there. We met up with this videographer, Avion, and he shot the Lemon Haze video, All They Want to Do video, and the Louis Vuitton jeans video all within 3 days. So that was a fun time. And so that's pretty much where we were at last year, and then or this year, excuse me. So yeah.
Wow, man! So you made a lot of stuff. It's interesting to get your story and kind of how things came together for you. So guys, if you skipped ahead, we're here with BenBoh, great musician. He made Lemon Haze. Check out Before the Fame, out on all platforms. BenBoh, BenBoh,
Yes, sir.
on all platforms. Before the Fame, go check him out. So we're talking to him about his album, what it's like being a DMV artist, and just what he does. You recently opened up for a big artist.
I did, DaBaby. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Opened up for DaBaby.
Yeah, so he's definitely, he's
man.
one of the bigger artists. Obviously, everyone knows DaBaby, so that was pretty crazy, right? I got that gig because of my manager, Hunter. He is the videographer for Bliss nightclub in DC, so he does a lot of their recap videos for when they have artists perform there. So he'll shoot the main artists like he did for DaBaby that night. So he was able to get me on because he was doing the recap for DaBaby, and he was basically like, I'll do this recap for free if you're able to get my artist on beforehand. So that's how he negotiated. Obviously, I had to have some content out there for them to be able to give the go-ahead and be like, all right, he seems like an acceptable artist to perform before DaBaby. So that's why having the Lemon Haze video out, having All They Want to Do, and having having Louis Vuitton jeans out, and that content out there is so important, because when people then go to figure out who you are, you actually have something for them to check out. And that's what they looked at, and they approved of, and I was able to open up for him, luckily, and that was pretty crazy for sure.
Yeah, man, that looked absolutely insane, and I was happy for you. It's really cool to see someone from our area doing what they do, and you're seeing someone that or saw before reach that kind of accomplishment, man.
Yeah.
So what's going through your head when that happens? When you're getting ready to go be on stage before a big artist like that?
Yeah.
Obviously, you're picking up steam. Obviously, people are checking you out. Mm-hmm. What's that like? What's going through your head?
For sure. So the day of, you're nervous. You're real nervous. But once I got there, I was cool. I was real cool. Because I've performed a lot before. I've performed probably 10 times now, including DaBaby. So that, not a lot, but I've had some experience, and that's within a year. You know what I mean? So I've performed a lot within the last year. So those performances beforehand were key. You know what I mean? You got to practice before you go on. Like, my first performance was god awful. I watched video recap of my first performance. I didn't look confident. I didn't look like I owned the stage by any means. And those things were corrected immediately. I think my second performance went really well. So I was able to compare, what I didn't like, what I did like from other performances, and then, take everything I learned and go in and try to do my best for DaBaby, and I felt like I did. Once I got in, I felt like my confidence was there. I had my guys with me. I had Cameron, Willie, my boy BenBoh, Asia God. So they were all with me as hype men on stage. So that also makes you feel good, because it's people you've been making music with every single day right there by your side. They're still by your side. So it's like, it makes you feel like you're at home almost, if that makes sense, because you're on stage with all these strangers, but at least your boys are still with you. So that's a really, that kind of, I think it's an underrated aspect of performing. That's why you always see people with their hype men, is because that's who they're comfortable with. So you're going to perform better if you're with people you're comfortable with. So that being said, I think my personal performance was really, really good. My energy was there, like I said. I think people fed off of that. After the performance, people were, saying that they liked it. And it's always interesting when people that you don't expect come up to you afterwards and say something to you. Because Bliss Nightclub is obviously a more, diverse crowd. So that was the first time I'd ever performed in front of a crowd like that, such a diverse crowd. And I was really excited too, because I was interested to see what their opinion of me would be. And I got a lot of, positive feedback. So.
Wow, man, that's absolutely insane. So where do you see, what would you really like to happen in the next, 3 to 5 years? Where would you really like to see things go? I mean, I would say you're moving fast.
I'm trying.
So what would you like to see happen in the next, like, if you could just get it all, everything that's in your head, what would it be?
If I could get it all, oh man. So I would have a compound in LA.
Okay.
A compound, right? So this is like
I respect it.
This would be with all my friends. Willie would live there. Cambo's gonna live there. Johnny Juice. Everybody I make music with is gonna live there, basically. My wife's gonna live there. Her family from Ecuador is gonna live there. But no, for real, I am gonna get a compound in LA. I want to start at my own studio. So along with making my own music, I want to start my own studio and label, where I'm like, bringing up other artists that are younger than me, that are on the rise. Because obviously I can only make music for so long, and I love music. So I want something that's going to take me to, for the rest of my life. So
a little bit of an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
Well.
So, and I also do the weed business thing too. So that's legal in California as well. So I would want to kind of incorporate that somehow, whether it's, having my own weed strain, whether it's having my own weed, accessories. You know, I want to do merch. I want to do, but yeah, again, to perfect scenario, it's just having that big studio compound in LA where all, you know, all my friends can come record, and at that point we obviously would have had to have made it. So I guess my idea of making it, I would like to stay independent if possible, but obviously I'm probably going to look back on this interview one day and laugh if I were to get signed because I don't know enough about that side of the business yet, just because I haven't gotten offered any deals in terms of, you know, signing with a label. But once I do, I'll obviously lawyer up and have to figure all that out. But there's definitely some labels out there that have, you know, reached out to me, some lower level labels. So that's obviously a good sign, right? But it's not.
Hey, congrats though.
Thank you. Yeah, it's not what I want yet. So like, obviously that means some people are viewing your stuff, and that means that you're in the right direction. So that's at least something, right? But I think that the goal would be, if I'm going to sign for something big, obviously a lot of money, because I think that I'm worth a lot of money. I think there's a lot of money to be made with my brand. I think that I'm going to push my brand to the max. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to continue to try to, you know, innovate and come up with new ideas in terms of not only music, but just content in general. So I think there's a lot of money to be made behind me, not to sound, you know, cocky or anything, because I'm just that confident in myself, but not only myself, my crew, because I'm confident in the people that I've been making music with and the people that I surround myself with. So,
hey, you know what, man? I respect your confidence.
Thank you.
What scares you the most, though, about making it? About going on to that other side? What do you fear for yourself? Because, you know, as an artist, you know, you just want to make. You want to create. And I think we want to be appreciated.
For sure.
You know, I make books. I'm an actor. You know, we want to be appreciated. So, but what scares you, though, about reaching that kind of success? Anything?
I mean, I think just for me, it's going to be the balance. So I'm married. So I think the balance of just me with my wife and being able to be a good husband.
Shout out to BenBoh's lovely wife. What's her name?
Melissa.
Shout out to Melissa.
BenBoh.
BenBoh.
Yeah.
I love that.
So
Awesome.
shout out BenBoh. We actually have a song. We did a song together that's out on YouTube. And
she's a musician too.
Kind of, not really. She's actually studying to be an architect, but she decided to come in the studio one day, and we were able to, you know, get her on the mic, and it actually sounds really good. So that song's called "Say My Name." That's out on YouTube and Spotify.
Guys,
or
check
not
it
Spotify,
out. Say
SoundCloud.
My Name, along with all his other songs. Say My Name with BenBoh's
BenBoh,
wife.
yeah.
BenBoh.
Yeah.
But tell us more about that.
So yeah, what I was saying was I gotta just, you know, in terms of if I were to make it, I think just being a good husband and being able to maintain that, you know, husband and wife time, and because right now I'm spending.
By the way, you know, the ladies who hear this are gonna go crazy about you, right?
No, but it's true though, because like I sometimes spend too much time in this, because right now I'm obsessed with it. Right, I'm obsessed with it. You know, I'm trying to make it. I think the only way I'm gonna make it is if I go 120%. So like, I'm trying to be in the studio all the time. I'm making videos. I'm hitting up Willie. I'm hitting up Cameron. So it's like, I gotta make some time for my wife. I'm still married. So it's like, all right, like that is the most important thing to me right now. So it's like, as much as I love all this other stuff, it's like, I gotta be a good husband. So I think just if I were to come up, it's just gonna be that much more time that it's gonna require. Maybe time away from home. I don't know. But I just think that, not that I'm scared of anything happening, I just think that that's going to be the most important thing for me to, you know, maintain if I were to make it. Really, that's the only thing I'm worried about, because I've already been through the worst, you know what I mean, from what I've told you. So that's the only thing I'm worried about.
Okay, got it. Yeah, so you've been through a lot of things in your life that really weren't easy to do or deal with.
Sure.
But the most important thing is being a good husband. And, man, I respect that so much, you know, being an MC and doing this and starting to really pick up steam here. You know, it sounds like your priorities and your heart is in the right place still. It's with your friends and your family and your wife. And it sounds like you really keep into perspective, you know, all the important stuff.
Yeah, I try, like I said.
That's cool. So where do you get your inspiration from? Like, where does it come? Does it come from past experiences? Like, what do you like to do? So I guess in other words, you know, like, you know, what do you draw from? You know, like what do you like to talk about?
So for all the fans that don't know, I have a tattoo on my hand that's a butterfly and my sister's name. So really, I've talked to you about my sister already, but that's my main motivation. So it's like, whenever I'm feeling down, whenever I'm feeling like not motivated, I just think about her and I'm like, what would she be doing right now, or what would she want me to do? So that's my main motivation. But now, in terms of just like side motivations, I would say, people I look up to, LeBron James is my hero. So, I've been a fan of him since I was 9 years old. He's the best athlete, in my opinion, that's ever lived. So, having that as a hero of mine, I think it's just someone that wants to strive for greatness. You know what I mean? That's one of his logos. So I just want to, strive for greatness. I think it's important to always go to be the best version of yourself that you can be. Nobody's best version is the same as another person's best version. So there's no judgment involved. I think it's just like where you came from, and what goes on in your mind, and you basically know what would be the best version of yourself. You just kind of have to execute it and work at it, and that's the hardest part. So I think LeBron James is a big motivator for me. Just watching him play. My parents, have always been supportive in my life. They're a big motivation for me. I want to succeed for them. I want them to be proud of me. I want to show them something that they can say, hey, he did it. You know what I mean? Whatever that is. So right now it's music. You know what I mean? So
what do you think of the state of the music industry right now? What do you think? What's the landscape out there right now? Like, what do you kind of...
I think it's wide open. I think it's pretty crazy right now, and I think it's going to continue to get crazier just in terms of, like, social media, TikTok, streaming, just how music is received by people these days. I think it's, like... It's almost like TikTok is this new app that people just do, like, 10 to 1-minute videos on, and... Right now, there's artists specifically blowing up off of that one app because those 15-minute videos or 1-minute videos incorporate their song on that video. And it's a funny thing that some kid's doing or whatever, might be dancing to the song, might be picking his nose, might be doing anything to the song. But it blows up for whatever reason, and like that's another way that people are like listening to music and hearing songs for the first time is literally by watching someone else's meme post that they did. So it's so crazy how people are like hearing songs for the first time and what they even like look up to in terms of like what's cool. I mean, I know I always looked up to just cars, money, and girls, but it's like I think it's become even more than that now. Like people look up to like YouTubers these days that just do silly stuff. So it's just kind of like different things that people look up to. I think people are appreciated more for more stuff. You know what I mean? Like you can be an emo person and be appreciated by a bunch of other emo people. You know what I mean? You can be whatever you want to be, and there's a market for you. And I think like it's just a matter of getting your stuff out to that market. Like I believe anyone can make music. I believe anyone can make content, and it can be received by a group of people. It's just a matter of how hard you want to work and how you get it out to those people and in what format. You know what I mean?
Versus when we were young, it was a lot more restrictive.
That's what I mean.
If you were not this way, you were ousted.
For sure.
And there was a lot of people who weren't being their true selves because of how they felt like they were going to get perceived. That's gone now.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's like, it's you really can be who you are.
Yeah,
today.
Along with like, all the motivation I said I have, but just that what we just said, the landscape opening up is another reason that I started making music, is because I just realized like anybody can make music. You know what I mean? That was a realization that I had to come to, where it was like, even though I'm a white kid from the suburbs, there's still a story to be told, because everyone has a story, you know what I mean? And everyone has ups and downs, and everybody, as long as you can tell it well and have fun things to talk about and, dramatic things, whatever it is that your song's about and whatever the feel, whatever the vibe you're trying to catch, as long as you're able to catch that vibe, I think anybody can do it, you know what I mean? So,
what was that like growing up in these suburbs around here for you?
I mean, I had a tough time. I was kind of bullied as a young kid, like till like fourth grade or whatever. Because
Really?
I was the oldest in my family, so it kind of took me a while to like figure out. I guess I mean, it sounds stupid, but how to be cool, if that makes sense. Like, or at least what I perceived as cool. Like, I just didn't know who I was or what I wanted to be. You know what I mean? And then once like, I mean, I was always athletic though. So like once like middle school kind of rolled around, I was like always on the select teams or whatever with whatever the cool kids or whatever. So people just kind of started to be more chill with me because I was good at sports, if that makes any sense. Or it was just kind of like, all right, like we're not gonna fuck with him because he's good at sports. Not that I was like super bullied, because I think I listened to your last podcast with Willie, and you guys talked a little bit about growing up, and I think just like I think everybody went through some form of bullying growing up, especially like our age, like 26, you know what I mean? Just like that group of people, like we were just like some people were able to take it more than others, and I do think other people got targeted more than others. But not that I want to make this a bully podcast, but I'm just saying like that was you know how it was for me for growing up. That's how it was until I was like, you know, 6th, 7th grade. Then I was playing sports. I was cool with everybody. Whatever.
Well, it helped you kind of fit in and find yourself and
sure,
you know, I guess have people kind of look at you a different way.
Yeah,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, yeah, so that was cool. I still always felt like different though, right? So I was like with the cool kids at this point, but I was always like kind of just like didn't I always just felt different. I don't even know how to explain it, but it was like I'm like, I don't know, like it was
even when you were with these people,
even when I was playing sports, I was
felt
just like
there was something different about you.
Yeah, and I think they could notice it too, and it was just kind of like, all right, like whatever.
Well, maybe that was this.
Yeah, no, it absolutely was. It was my artistic, you know, way of thinking that like most people don't have.
I know that because I feel the same way.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. So it's like artists are weird because like art isn't even appreciated at all until you're like older. You know what I mean? Like, if that makes like as a kid, you're a nerd if you're an artist. Like at least that in our you know what I mean? Like,
I was right there too.
I could like that. So that was I guess just like the fear of like I don't even know
because people don't understand us. You know, we're saying whether you're a comedian, a poet, a rapper, like yourself, but you're just kind of a musician, right? You do a little bit, you know, all-encompassing musician.
For sure.
Actors, I mean, we're a little bit on the outskirts because people they don't get it. They don't get our thought process. They don't get why we say the things that we say. They don't get how our mind works.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, it's our brains just work differently, and so it's not their fault. You know, they don't understand us, but you know, you're right.
As a kid, it's hard to understand. It's hard to realize that.
Yeah,
you don't.
As a kid, as everyone's brain is developing, you know, you're kind of like, man, why am I singled out?
Yeah.
Why am I different?
Feels more like that.
But then later it turns into this. If you're willing to listen to it, you know, then it can really turn into something incredible.
No, yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Now it's so funny, like, yeah, like, so whatever, get into high school, I find, you know, my group of friends or whatever. As a high schooler, I'm more of like a...
And we went to high school
went to high school together, but
for 1 year.
For 1 year. So I was at good counsel, right, for my first 2 years of high school.
Okay.
Got kicked out my first day of junior year for smoking weed.
Really?
Yeah, but I didn't even like get caught smoking. Like one of like my friends told on me because the person that drove me to school on the first day of school hit another student's car while pulling into school. He wasn't high. I was high in the back seat, but somehow when he got questioned, it came out that I was high in the back seat by the disciplinarian. And at that point, the disciplinarian didn't care about the fact that he hit the other student's car. All he cared about was that I was high for some reason on the first day. So yeah, like I get called in. I get called into the office like 3 days later, not even the same day, and they're like, "Yeah, did you smoke before school like the other day?" And I was just like, I mean, yes, I didn't lie. I was just like, because they're just like, first actually I did lie. I said no, and they were like, nah, like, we're going to ask you one more time, like, did you smoke? Because I guess they knew, because there was people that had snitched on me already. So I was like, all right, like, I guess I'll say yes, since you just told me, like, I basically have to say yes. Thinking, like, all right, they're going to suspend me, maybe let me back. They didn't let me back, so I'm like, shit, I'm out of school. My parents are devastated, because I grew up in Catholic school my whole life, so it was like, you're out of Catholic school. This is terrible. Like, what the fuck? Like, you just got caught smoking weed. This was like the worst time of my life.
Wow.
Like, yeah. So I'm
especially
like,
for a young kid.
yeah. So I'm like, really pissed. But at least I had a group of friends like at that point. So it was like, all right, I got kicked out, but I like had a group that I like knew were still my boys, and this was like. So I think like the most important thing as a kid is just having like at least one or two friends that you can rely on, just so you can like have a few people to talk to. So yeah, I get kicked out, go to Sherwood, still have my friends from Good Counsel, end up meeting a bunch of people at Sherwood. So it ends up being a good thing, right? So it's kind of like you're at a Good Counsel, that sucks, whatever. But now you're at Sherwood, you're meeting all these new people, you're seeing diverse people, you know, it's just completely different than Good Counsel, like white, suburban, rich people. You're at a different, diverse school with people that, you know, their parents might not be together. You know what I mean? They might not know their dad. They might, you know what I mean? And me being able to communicate with those people really also just like changed the way I looked at life. And so that's kind of how I grew up. And then got through that. Loved my Sherwood experience. What did you think of Sherwood?
You know what? I thought it was fine, man. You know what? I was always in my own world a little bit. I don't know if you remember me at all.
I don't think we had any classes together. I mean, I remember your face.
I
now
remember
that I see
your
you,
face,
but,
but you know, I mean, I graduated with 600 people.
No, yeah, it was
so
huge.
there was just no way you were going to get to know everyone, and there was just no way everyone was going to like you.
No, I didn't have a lot of people like me in our grade. Actually, I wasn't friends with anyone in our grade. Actually, I when I came to Sherwood, I knew this one girl I was kind of talking to that was a grade younger than me. So when I went to Sherwood, I started chilling with that grade. Actually, I was like a junior chilling with sophomores, like only sophomores, which is like. In high school, that's kind of weird just because, like, it's still, like, even though it's 1 year, so, like, as an adult, that's not weird at all. In high school, it's just kind of like, why is this junior chilling with only sophomores? So it was, like, I kind of felt weird, but I was also just like, I don't give a fuck because I'm, like, I'm still the cool kid. And I was also, because I came from Good Counsel, I was just known as this kid that, like, got kicked out. So, like, people, like, kind of saw me as, like, this badass, right? But I wasn't a badass. I was just, like, got caught in a bad situation. But I played it up. I was like, yeah, I smoke weed. Like, yeah, try to get after the girls, you know what I mean? And I did. Yeah. Had fun with some girls, you know what I mean?
All right.
So that's what I was all about in high school, was just, like, girls and, like,
oh, but come on, who wasn't?
Stupid.
You know
what
I mean?
Yes.
Especially back then, you know, some girls were, you know, they're really coming into themselves, and, you know, you're just, you know, we're coming into ourselves, and, you know.
Good times.
Of course, man. Yeah, you know, and you don't, you know, you're so young, so you're not really worried about the future or career. I mean, you're thinking about girls. And
yeah, so I didn't think
finding yourself and video games and hanging out with friends.
Yeah,
and,
all that. No future. There was nothing. I didn't think about my future at all. It was kind of crazy.
That's
I was
how
like,
it should be.
No, yeah, it should be like that. But I think like there's rappers these days getting famous at 16.
Yes,
so I'm like, how are they? Who's steering them in the right direction at that young? You know what I mean? Like, I wish someone was like, yo. You should just like not do this and get
you're
famous,
a really creative
or something.
Guy.
Yeah, I wish like but obviously everyone's path is different, so it's just like, but it's so interesting to me that it's like some people just like have that at that young of an age, right?
Right, absolutely. But now, you know, one question for you is, now look at you though, you're not that high school kid anymore. You're opening up for the baby.
Yeah, it's different now.
So let me ask you: do you ever have old people? Now that you're kind of achieving this success here, do you have people who just reach out to you and now they want to talk to you?
Oh yeah, that's
here they come.
That's real funny, right? It's real funny how that happens. I have this one line on my song, my new song, like something like, yeah, they're gonna hate, but they're always watching my shit. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna hate on you, but like why are they watching?
Why are you paying attention?
Like this kid bullied me my whole life, and now he's watching every single story I post. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, why? Because you're bored at your fucking job, and you realize like I'm living my life now, and like I hate to fucking sound like a dick, but it's like that. I'm so man. If you knew how happy that makes me, it doesn't make me happy, but it's kind of just like, all right, like that's what it's all about.
A little,
right? It's kind of what it's all about.
A
like.
little retribution.
For sure, like that's how life works, dude.
Hey, and
that's how life works.
You're gonna be a guest again when you're super famous in 2 years.
Oh yeah,
you will be a guest again on the Oh No Not Nino show.
Yeah, when we're both famous, right?
Hey, you know what? You never know.
No, yeah.
You know, maybe I'll
your
have
podcast goes off.
Maybe the podcast, maybe the acting. I gotta move out to LA too. We'll have you on, maybe in 2 years I have you on another episode. And you know what? On the Oh No Not Nino show, we speak freely. Yeah. So you say it, man.
No, yeah.
You're the star. You speak freely on this show.
I just think it's funny. You know what I mean? Like the people that didn't support you at all at one point in your life now are acting supportive, and whether it's acting or they're actually supportive.
But I find motivation from it. Sometimes that gets me. Sometimes that gets a little fire under my feet, man. That's when I start applying to stuff, auditioning for stuff, because I'm like, it makes me a little hungry.
Yeah, no, yeah. You know, it makes you feel like you're doing something right, right? You know what I mean? You're doing something right.
That's correct, my man. So what's your favorite part about making music? What's the part that, you do and you're like, man, because for me, with my stuff, there's sometimes where I sit back and I go, this is what I'm meant to do. I love doing this. Mm-hmm. What's that for you?
For me, that's probably... I mean, the demo process is always fun just because that's really when you're making the song with your friends in the studio. So once you get a good beat, a beat that you can really feel, to me, the lyrics kind of like come to me. It's a crazy feeling, but it's like, I love the feeling of just like hearing a beat and then like knowing what to say, because like that's how it is for me. I'll hear, like, it takes a while. I'm picky with beats, but when I hear a beat, I almost like, I know the melody, how I want it to sound, and then I kind of like, words kind of just come to me, and I think that experience is like really special, just because like, I don't know what I believe that is, because there's like, I've watched Joe Rogan's podcast where he talks about the fact that he believes that that's aliens speaking to you, and like that those ideas that are being put in your head on like what lyrics, I sound like a crazy motherfucker, but no.
Hey man,
the ideas. So well, listen to this. The ideas that get put in your head, right, when you're making a song, they're so sudden and they're so like specific, and sometimes they're so perfect that it's like it feels like someone's feeding you those ideas. And like Joe Rogan's talked about how like aliens exist in like the world already. They're already here basically, and we just can't see them just based off of what we're able to like see as humans. But like I just think like whether you believe they're aliens, whether you believe that's God, whether you believe that's fate, whether you like whatever you believe it is that you're like whatever like experiencing to then put those lyrics out, I just think that's really special.
Bro, that's profound. What you just said is like, that's some real stuff.
I believe it.
Do you believe in aliens?
I believe in like kind of what I just said to you. So I believe that like there's dimensions on this earth that like we as humans aren't able to like see or even comprehend, because they're like and I believe they're already going on. And I just think like it's weird. I can't even explain it to you because it's so complicated.
No. But you know what? I believe you. Like I actually agree with you.
Right.
Because but I wonder sometimes, is it like alternate realities?
That
or
could
is
be
it like a world happening around us?
Yeah, like the time thing, like how time.
I don't know.
Yeah, you never know.
But
it's something along. There's more. Yes. That's all I'm saying, really. I say aliens, but I just mean there's more to life than like something. So it's like it's interesting when things come together so perfectly, and it's just like, why did that happen so perfectly like that? Like I don't know. It's just interesting. It's really funny.
Yeah, it is really funny.
It's cool.
No, man, you know what? So you're a musician. You got all these guys. If you skip this far ahead, I don't know what is the matter with you.
Yeah.
You missed a whole lot.
Go back, rewind.
Yeah, I don't know if the Oh No Nino show wants you. No, I'm just kidding. No, but we're with BenBoh. Obviously he's a great musician coming up in the Washington D.C. area. Made Lemonades before the fame. Out on all platforms, guys. We're gonna have all the links to all his music, all his social media. Check him out. It's really been a pleasure, man.
Appreciate it, bro.
So what's next? What's coming next? Let them know.
So we've got a few projects coming in 2020 for sure. We've got visuals coming. We got shows coming. We've got a lot coming actually in 2020. But something I could tell you definitively, I'm doing a mixtape with my producer Johnny Juice, who's also my best friend. So Johnny Juice was featured on 3 tracks on Before the Fame, and we're doing an entire EP together. So all the tracks are going to be produced by him. It's going to be like 6 to 8 songs. So that's going to come out early 2020. Then me and my brother are doing an entire mixtape together. So BenBoh, shout out BenBoh.
BenBoh,
Yes,
BenBoh's
sir.
brother.
My little brother.
Who makes music as well.
Yes.
Some of his songs
are Before I Wake, which is there's a video dropping. It's just dropped on SoundCloud, but there's a video dropping soon, which is going to be crazy. A lot of people like Chicken Acquisition. He dropped an entire project called Chicken Acquisition that's on all platforms right now. It's hard as fuck.
That's awesome.
Yeah, his thing is like, let's get this chicken. He always says that, so that's his like moniker.
BenBoh.
Correct.
Before the Fame,
yes, sir.
On all platforms. And how would you describe your music?
If
you could put it, can you
simply,
even put it
if I put it simply, pop rap, just because there's that new genre that they put on Spotify for everybody. Just fun, party music. You know what I mean? I like to think most of my music is based off of just having a good time, listening to it, and trying to create that vibe of having a good time with whoever you're with. You know what I mean? It's simple as that. It's not, it's not hard rap. It's not, it's not true hip hop. I wouldn't say. It's more, fun, dance, drink, smoke, have a good time.
But you got something going.
For sure. I'd like to think
think
it's a little unique. You know what I mean? For sure.
Very unique, guys. His music is awesome.
Yeah,
his music is really good.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for coming in. We're going to have you in a couple years when you're famous, super famous.
Hell yeah.
And hey, thanks for being on the Oh No Not Nino show, man.
Thanks, bro.
All right, guys, go check him out. Guys, links in the description to all of his stuff. You want new music, you keep listening to the same people. Check out something different. Check out something new. And, you don't want to be the guy, okay, after this guy blows up in a year, is like, oh, yeah, go check him out. Listen to his music. Okay, stay ahead of the curve. All right, all right, I'll see you guys later.